Good job. Sitting long-legged, toes towards your face, hands behind the back of your head. Nice little spine warm up and a bit of a stretch. Chin comes to your chest, curl yourself forward until your forehead's on your knees. And then come back up to the top and repeat with your crown of your head onto your knees. Great. Curling forward 10 times. Knees and feet together. Squeeze your inside thighs. Reach your heels to the far side of the room. Bring your toes towards your face. Coil your rib cage in closer and closer. Be mindful that it's easy to do 90% of it with your neck only and nothing else. So do a medium amount with your neck to do maximum amount with your middle rib cage. Good job. So we start with open leg rocker today. Bend your knees. They're split a little wider than your shoulders. Your tippy toes are on the ground. Our warm up to get into the position is to hold the back of your thighs nice and close up to the back of your knees. Sit super tall through your torso and then straighten a single leg to the ceiling. Then bend it back in and then the other side. Deb's got a nice visual for us with a nice plain background, so it's most obvious. Thank you, Deb. Alternate sides, 3 each side. Each time your knees are bent, get yourself a little taller through your torso, particularly lifting out of your low back. The turnout has your knees be a little wider than your shoulders, but your toes to be touching together and just touching on the floor to get some balance for you. So Carly, toes together, please. Good job. Super handy with your fluorescent socks against the dark mat. All the little visual tips for you guys as we get going. Tasha, you got the most beautiful background, but impossible to see. I'm joking. You're doing great. Rightio, next, the single leg goes high, followed by the second. So your toes are just going to be just wider than your shoulders as you come up 1 and 2, up to a point of balance. Then one leg comes back down, followed by the second. Again, 1 up, 2 up, 1 down, 2 down. There's my puppy dog instructions for you guys. Is that clear, Kat?
I just can't do this one.
No worries. So just lay flat on your back and do the equivalent preparation for your flexibility. The even better feedback, and this is where it's always helpful to have these little side steps, is Kat is going to get some excellent feedback about when her back is changing shape because I don't want it to on the floor. So knees close to your chest, Kat. More towards your armpits, so they're a little wider than your shoulders. That's it. Hold the back of your thighs, Kat, and then straighten one leg. I want it to come to the equivalent of being above your forehead, but it'll obviously be a little wider. Very good. So this is a simple, easy side step for you, Kat, that we can still get a shitload out of the exercise, but obviously dealing with and with full consideration to everyone's individual modifications. The cliche is everyone's got a situation. All right. Next 3 each side is hold the back of your calf muscles as low as possible to your Achilles in the start position. Now, it's critical that you don't do something like this with your hand at the front of your shins. I need you to come around the back of your Achilles. Now, from there, super strong with your shoulders and your upper back. Straighten one leg to the ceiling. That's overhead for you, Kat. Do you notice you've gone over the top there, Carly? You need to come around the outside of your lower leg. It's really common what you want to do there, Carly.
It's that.
That's around the outside, correct, and underneath the back of your Achilles. Good. Send a single leg high, out to a double leg, single leg down, down to a double leg. Very good, Tosha. Feels fine. Carly, are you still on the inside? You need to go on the outside of your legs with your hands if that's okay. Also, terribly tempting for those who are more flexible, including the dancers in the group. It's easy to go bananas with your legs, Moulin Rouge style, but they're only going just wider than your shoulders. Now, stay at the top of the next one. Your legs are straight and you're as tall as possible. At that point in time, you have a flat, straight spine, trying to get as lifted as possible. Now, keep the amazing height emphasis in your spine, then do the littlest amount you need to tuck your tail under and topple yourself off balance. You'll be in a curve in your low back at that point in time. You're going to roll all the way back to the back of your shoulders. Then, without losing any momentum whatsoever, press your legs into your hands and come back to the top to the starting position. Again, in breath, tuck your tail under and roll back. Zero loss of momentum. You got to keep the flow going on with this one big time. Press your legs big time to get yourself back to the top and come up to a point of balance. Very good, Carly. When you get to the top, technically your back is flat, meaning neutral actually. So lift out of your lumbar spine to be in a neutral spine. If you try and roll with a neutral spine, it won't work. You'll go splat on the floor. So you must translate it into a roll each time that you go with the movement. Many people will struggle to get a neutral spine at the top. You must endeavor to, because that's going to have your spine be the longest. And then you got to work to keep that length and add a tuck under with your spine. How's that feeling, everyone? Fine? Any questions? As you'll see in the manual, Tracy's gripping behind the back of the thighs. I'm not against that, particularly with those with limitations in their flexibility. My recommendation is you go grabbing for your Achilles though.
Can I ask a question?
For those, yes, Deb?
When you come back up, are you allowed to stop and lengthen the spine, or do you want it to be continuous, or?
I'm very happy for you to stop while you're getting a sense of it. It's actually a really good thing to do to confirm that you have balance and control of the exercise. So I'm happy for you to do that. Eventually, you'll be able to honor that position momentarily, achieve everything you need to achieve within the flow of the exercise. So long term, I don't expect you to have to stop, but when you're first learning it, more than happy for you to get there, check in with a bunch of stuff, and then go again. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
A really fascinating thing to try is do a hand grip that is like this on the inside of your legs, under your heel bones. I only give that to the more flexible of my clients, but come up to the same position. Deb's demonstrating that nicely. Carly, you'll be able to have this one for breakfast, and you, Viv, I don't necessarily expect this one for you, Tosha. Now, it's only a subtle change in terms of hand grip, but it's a game changer in two departments. It changes your center of gravity quite significantly, even though it's only a small change with your hands. It also tends to disengage your shoulders. So your shoulders will tend to want to come near your ears, particularly when you're upside down. And that loses the whole wrap and the connection of the exercise. So give it a try, Deb and Viv, if you're happy to, and Carly, because watch this, it's going to go splat really easily. And you're going to very much arrive to your neck very easily also. So often have a little fun and a little play with this, but it is a very, very different dimensions of the exercise, and it becomes very top heavy very quickly. Do you feel that, Deb?
Yeah, I don't like it. It makes it increases my habit of shoulders up.
Very much, yeah. So that's why I'm demonstrating it and giving it as a fun example for you. It is still possible to achieve everything I asked from you with the earlier version, even holding the back of your thighs rather than your Achilles, absolutely. But that's a really good one. It really, really, really puts your clients to the test. I don't recommend teaching it like that as a version early, later for your clients. Cool, corkscrews next. rollovers. This one should be fine for you, Kat. Come to the front, more forward edge of your mat. Arms are pressing super firmly on the floor. Legs are vertical. Now, we clarified the bob test with a bit of follow-up chat on the Slack channel for you guys. When you're here, before you begin, can you momentarily lift your head off the floor? That's called bobbing your head forward. You need to be able to do that bob test. If I asked you at any point in time, if you're not able to do it anywhere in these inversion exercises, that means you've got pressure on your head and neck and it's not okay. Okay, the corkscrew, a couple of little preparations. Firstly, a version called the pendulum, which is simply taking your legs directly sideways to the floor. It's going to evoke a rotation in your pelvis and your lower spine. So take your legs directly sideways. They generally will want to fade away from your chin, like into extension, but I only want them to be very purely sideways, hence the pendulum name. Alternate sides, 3 each side. Watch out for the couch, Carly. Directly sideways, good. Now, what's nice when you're on a broad floor like you each are, you can totally take your hands very wide and use this as an important oppositional pressure and anchor to crank this rotation into quite a distance. It's a beautiful exercise. It's a hard exercise. It asks a lot of your rotation. If I was to look closely with a microscope just now to your tummy muscles, are they inward or are they outward? Of course, there's a simple answer to that.
Are we going around or are we just going pendulum still?
Just pendulum, side to side only. That is one plane, obviously. You get 10 points for naming the plane. And then we do the next version, which is a circular action. So we already did this with single leg circles, but we're going to do it with double leg circles now. So legs go sideways once, like you just did. Then they come towards your face as they begin a circular action to finish on the other side of the pendulum. That's one half of the circle. And then continue that circle away from your face and then return back to the first side you went to. So it's simply a massive circle of your legs together, drawing a circle on the ceiling. Now, the purist in me says you're not allowed to move your pelvis. That's minimizes your range of movement significantly. You must keep your pelvis grounded to get a sense of moving your hips only. So I would teach it, firstly, with your pelvis not changing neutral. That's a big ask to distinguish that. Soon enough, and it's more likely the case that your pelvis does roll, and I do want it to, the size of a dinner plate. Can you have the weight transfer around the circumference of a dinner plate as you take your legs in this big circle? Change directions if you haven't already. You're welcome to do it with bent knees if that reduces the load and makes it more realistic for you. Good job. Quick rest. Any questions on that? Nice one. We're going to do the other component, which makes up the corkscrew, simplifying it to an earlier version we already did. So you get to see that actually through the traditional repertoire, there are only a certain number of planes our body can move in, but we just blend them together more and more and more as you go through, and you guessed it, they get harder and harder and harder. Straight rollovers, vertical legs again. Hands down beside your hips on the mat initially. Bring straight legs towards your face as close as you can. A full rollover, aiming for your feet to touch the floor as far as you can behind you, but zero pressure on your head and neck, so you must be able to pass the bob test. In breath to pause, out breath and roll back. 3 of those only. This one's for you, Tosha. How does it feel in your pelvis, Kat? No pressure on your coccyx, sacrum? Well done. Is that feeling okay for you, Viv? Okie doke.
Oh, sorry,
Say that again.
all of that, do we go all the way up onto our necks?
No.
Get our feet.
The measure is this little bob test that I've been banging on about. So you're welcome to, if you can still lift your head clear of the floor.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be much, literally just has to be 1 centimetre.
Okay.
The other answer I could give you is if you're concerned about that at all, don't go anywhere near it. Okie doke. Now we put all those components together. So we begin by sending your legs directly sideways like I initially indicated with the pendulum. Then go away from your face to complete the far part of the circle. Then when you're around the other side, we begin the rolling over part of the movement. And we finish overhead in the center, once again with your legs. Now back down the same side. So legs go off the midline, down the side you just came up. Roll yourself back down, and then you pick up with the circle around the other side, then come up the other side of your spine, rolling overhead. The image here is the shape of a pear or an avocado is on the ceiling, and your feet are tracing the shape of that pear or avocado outline on the ceiling. Technically, you're rolling up one side of your spine off the midline. Yeah.
But the body still stays straight, doesn't it? So it's not like the hips are going that way.
Very good. So if we trace the pathway of your coccyx bone, I'll say that again differently. If you drew a line down the center of the mat that you're lying on, your spine would roll up and down that line. It wouldn't favor off to one side. Now that's achieved by both sides of your waist staying equally long rather than hitching your hip to one side. So come back down for a quick rest. Knees are bent, feet are grounded. Put your fingertips like this on the sides of your waist, measuring the distance between your ribs and your pelvis. Everyone got that? Now, roll your knees directly sideways, and I want this distance between your fingertips and ribs and pelvis to not change at all. So roll your knees off to one side. Good, then come center, and then roll your knees off the other side. Now, what I don't want is one to shorten, one to lengthen, one to shorten, one to lengthen as you do that. Yes? That's a clean rotation, not a confused rotation. I'll show you the contrast, which is not what I'm after. Leave your feet in the center. Just hoik one hip towards your shoulder, and you'll shorten that side of your waist. And then return center, then hoik the other hip towards your shoulder, and that'll shorten. Okay? That movement that I just distinguished for you is 200% common in the rollover. It mustn't be there. Okay? The way to feel it, as I'll have you inverted in a moment with it, is that your sits bones are level, pointing towards the ceiling when you have cleanly rotated. But if you have one sits bone higher than the other, it's like you're sitting on a chair heavier on one buttock than the other. That's you having shortened one side of your waist. So come into the exercise again, legs are vertical. Take your legs off to one side and just make it a clean rotation. No shortening of your waist. If you put your fingertips back into place, would they have shortened on one side? No. Go around the far side of the circle, away from your chin, then come up rolling up one side of your spine. Stay overhead for a moment the next time you're there. Can you free up your hands to measure the distance once again between your ribs and your pelvis? Are they equally long?
No.
Keep them equally long. Keep them equally long. Take your legs off to one side. Bring them back to the center. Take them off to the other side. Bring them back to the center. That movement must be a clean rotation in your spine rather than a shortening. Kat is wearing a convenient top this afternoon because there's lines on it, horizontal loop lines, and you can see literally those lines getting shorter or wider apart from one another if cat's doing any shortening on one side. Awesome. So that rotation is cleaning your waist. You come up one side of your spine, come to the center. So you want to honor the stalk of the pair overhead. So you are in the center when you get to the top, but then you come off one side and you roll down that side of your spine, go around the bottom half, then come up, rolling up one side of your spine, and then come back to the center again. So your toes are directly overhead. You come up one side, you go back down the same side. You switch sides at the bottom by doing what also might help is a horseshoe shape at the bottom of the movement, and then you come overhead. Very good, Kat. How's it feel? You're doing great. Well done. It's a tough exercise. We're asking a lot of coordinated oblique connection in your abdomen. Well done. Question, Tosha? It's hard, hey? Any questions on that one? Good job. It's called the corkscrew. Spine stretch is next. Sitting, long-legged. Arms are horizontal. We're going to have feet, knees and feet together. It's wider in your manual, but my preference is for your feet to be together. Arms are horizontal, chin comes to your chest. You're going to curl forward all the way until your forehead is in your lap. So we already did this earlier as part of the roll-ups, but I consider this one as a nice little reprieve in you've just had a killer workout for your abs. All the way forward. Very good. And then sit tall again. I don't think this one has anything groundbreakingly new in it for you guys. I think you're all pretty familiar with that one. It's a reasonably simple exercise. Tracy's version, which I'm not against, is with the legs a lot wider, with the hands tracing on the floor. The difference, what I'm just taking you through, is your legs are together and your arms remain horizontal the whole time. Question that I missed? No? Okay.
You've got to avoid this. You have to avoid this.
The reason I want you to avoid that is because it's just a slump and it's very much a shortening of the spine. So I want to create very much some upwardness. Yeah. Now, the news is that as much as you're going forward with your fingertips and the crown of your head, you're also going backwards with your abdomen. So I'm not against what Deb just demonstrated. Can you do that again for us, Deb?
This one?
Yep. So everyone watch Deb a couple of times. So Deb's thinking along the right lines, but as you can see, it's just embedded with shortness and downwardness. Whereas, sit tall for me, Deb. Keep high, lift, lift, lift tall, keep very active, and then create the same backwardness with your spine. No, 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 that was your upper body. I want you to do it with your lumbar spine. No, 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 no. Stay tall with your upper body, but curl your lumbar spine backwards. That's good. Does everyone see that that's mostly Deb's upper back and neck and shoulders? So come back up again, Deb. Keep your upper body where it is. Focus on your lumbar spine only, the lowest part. Can you tuck it under and roll backwards? No, no, no. Don't go forward with anything. Just go backwards with your lower back. That's good. Don't change anything else. So here's an interesting one. Like, what does your client get and what don't they get? Yeah, I haven't been clear for Deb yet. It's not a problem. I just haven't been clear. So arms out horizontal. Nothing changes, Deb, except your lower back. Tuck your tail under and use your abdomen to pull your lower back backwards. Good. Much clearer. Well done. And then come tall. Do that again 6 times. Everyone watch closely. Nothing else changes, Deb. Your head wants to change. You don't want it to. Your shoulders want to change. You don't want it to. I want it to be only your low back. Very good. Everyone see that? Cool. Final question for you, Deb. Are you going taller as you do that, or are you going downward?
No, I'm going down.
Not okay. You got to go up. You need every spare centimetre that you can work. Sorry, that's a cheeky opportunity there. So imagine you're getting grabbed by the scruff of your neck and going, get pulled up to the ceiling. Yeah, everyone give it a try. Tall as you can. It's an amazing distinction to get. Yeah, tuck your tail under. Good to see you warming up, Deb. So Viv, stay tall. Nothing else changes. Only your lumbar spine. Not your head. I'm happy for the head to come later, and it's on the back of the comment that you put on the Slack channel last week, Viv. That's cool because it is the whole spine eventually, but I need to distinguish the lumbar spine first as a preparation for the rest to go. Like I need it to be, that's the initiation.
Yep.
What are we going to say?
Yes. Yes, that makes perfect sense to me. Yeah.
Great. And it's very much fits in with Miss Graham's technique, I think. Yes, arch and curl, big time, yeah. But it's like our thoracic spine is already convex, this shape, yeah. So it's already kyphotic, so it's like you got 10 times more chance of just wanting to go into your upper back. So I'm deliberately putting the brakes on that for the time being, just so you get a better sense of tucking under. Good. Say again, Viv.
I would call that a traditional contraction in Martha Graham technique. It always in the lumbar spine.
It's perfect. So that's not a term that I would expect anyone else in the group except Carly to know, and that's okay. But you're spot on. Can you come closer to the camera for us, just side on as well, and show us? Just a little further away, if that's okay. Just a little further away. That's good. Yeah. No, you're good. But I just want to see the full range of the movement. Yeah, go. Love it. Very good. Come back up.
So is it a pelvic tilt or is it lower back?
It's a massive pelvic tilt.
Okay. So we should be doing like a pelvic tilt.
Tasha, it's a very good question. Yeah. In the same breath as not letting your upper back do it, I don't want you to let your pelvis do it either.
Yeah.
So do it again. Do it again for us, Viv. This is a very good question, Tasha. You're spot on with your eyes. Well done. Less pelvis, please. And that's the second most likely thing to want to do, Tasha. So that's why I'm recommending, like, I'm acknowledging what you're saying, yeah? Viv, can you do it only with your lumbar spine, not your pelvis? That was your thoracic.
I didn't see any lower back there.
Me neither.
Before all, I saw the pelvis, yeah.
Good. So therefore, we have two very good examples of what's highly likely. Like Deb wins what the highest likelihood is, which is a lot of thoracic. Viv is the second prize for doing mostly pelvis. Yeah, it's both of those, but you got to do the most important bit. What I recommend in the first instance, you got to get your lower back to do it, because your lower back is your tummy, and then that's what drives that. Okay. Just once more for me, Viv. Just come closer again, Deb. I think you'll find that helpful. Just lift your green up again if that's okay, Viv. It was helpful with the white contrast. Everyone watch closely, because what I want you to check for yourself, Viv, because at the moment a contraction looks like a shortening. And it's like what Deb answered with before. I need it to be a lengthening. Now, like Tasha highlights beautifully, when you tuck your pelvis under, you tend to drag yourself down.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. So different, Viv. Very good. Come out of it. And again, can you go up as you do the exercise? Very good. Massive difference. Massive difference. Everyone see that?
Yeah.
Good one.
And
Now,
so the movement itself is a lot smaller too then. It's not as grandiose.
When you start, definitely. Because I'm asking you to be particular with your low back, and if you're not that good at flexing your low back, then it's not going to be big at all. Grandiose is an exaggeration for sure. If it's grandiose, it's usually your neck and shoulders. If it's neck grandiose, it's usually your thorax. If it's neck grandiose, it's usually your pelvis. Hello, low back. Can we please address that area? Yeah. So it's like, this is the nuts and bolts of you guys really sorting out lower back pain for a gazillion clients you're going to work with in the future. Because if you can get this stuff and really piece it together, it's a game changer for people actually using musculature to support their low back. What were you going to say, Viv?
Really, I was just, it's the lower back, lumbar spine. Sorry, it's very busy here right at this point in time. A bit higher than I would have been than I've been imagining previously. So the opposite abdominals action is a little higher than what I would have normally done.
Yep, and that's okay. That's okay. Play around with all this for your clients. So I'm going to prep it up with exactly what Kat's up to just now. So we already did this as a second exercise. So hands behind you. Plant your heels of your hands on the floor, not up on your fingers. Good. Now, do a tuck under of your tailbone and lift your pelvis up and forward, like what we did with leg pull. Yeah. Very good, Deb. Up you come as high as you can. Maybe your hands need to go back a little further. Just feel for that optimum sweet spot. Yeah. Now, the reason I want you to do this one as an integrator and understand it is, come back down again, do what we saw a couple of times with both Deb and Viv, and do downwardness with this exercise as your start of a tuck. So go down, now stay down, and then try and lift your pelvis up. It's heavy, the exercise, and it gets lost in your shoulders, yeah? Versus get strong in the back of your hamstrings, connect with the floor, press your inner thighs together and press your heels down into the floor. Do this unique lower back thing that we just spent a bit of time on. And then, bam, the exercise like comes to life. Very good. Now, Kat, this is the best exercise for you at the moment for your coccyx bone. Because it's got rolling written all over it, but it's off the floor. So you can still, like, this is the thing, you can still work exactly what you're trying to work in things like the handful of exercises that don't work for Kat. Give little side steps that actually do the same thing still. Yeah, they'll be excellent for your low back. Because otherwise you miss out on the benefit of rolling like a ball and open leg rocker, because they're both amazing exercises for this same shape. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. So I just want you guys to hear loud and clear that I have zero hesitation on giving Kat a kick-ass workout, even though we've all seen on the first weekend with Kat's generosity, like there's a funky shape going on with Kat's pelvis. But it's not a problem. That's the thing. Like I say funky, like with tongue in cheek, because we've all got funkinesses. Just have to look close enough, yeah? Yeah. Cool. Helpful?
Mm-hmm.
You're cooling down, Deb. That's no good. Chop, chop. Okay, the saw is next. Actually, let's do a couple more of the spine stretch forward, just so you get to put it together into the exercise. Legs are straight, together, toes are flexed to your face. I'm happy for you to do the rolling back part as a precursor to the coming forward part. Loads better, Viv. Well done. Pilates works because it does anti-gravity things. So you got to be working to get yourself up and over and tall and lifted and stretched and long. Good catch, Deb. Well done. So the harsh analogy is that imagine someone kicked you in the stomach.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah. Then kick you in the chest, that would cause your shoulders to round and your head to kind of change shape. They kick you in the low stomach, like, oh, like that. Yeah.
So So Bruce, I've got this idea that like I'm kind of making a ball with like there's a ball in my stomach that I'm trying to roll around. Is that the right kind of cueing or not?
Really great. Now look at that on Kat's nice demonstration here. At the moment, Kat, you're creating a nice little early shape, and then you're taking that shape directly forward.
Going down.
I want you to use that early shape and then grow that shape even more. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah, nice one. And here's the catch-all for you guys. As much as your crown of your head and your fingertips are going forward, your lumbar spine is going backward.
Yeah.
And the definition of a stretch is when one thing moves away from the other. If you move something in both in the same direction, you don't actually get a stretch. So stay there, Kat. Can you take your rib cage backward and your lumbar spine backward? Much better. Even more. Even more. Go on, take your lower. That's good. Nice one. And then come back up. Very good. Different.
Can I ask a question?
In a moment. Yep. Thank you. Now, the other cliche for you guys is you only get a stretch when you earn the stretch. You got to work for it. If you just slop forward, you can't like, oh yeah, I kind of feel a stretch. Hamstrings, nothing else. The exercise is called spine stretch forward. So you got to stretch your spine. And if I wanted to add to that name, I'd call it spine stretch forward and backwards. Deb, much better, Kat. Well done.
So if your arms and your head are going that way and your lumbar spine is going the opposite direction,
Yeah.
does it ever go past that 90 degrees? Like, see how it's behind my hips?
So you guys take a mental note of that and put it down in your notebooks after class. And Deb, maybe I could request that you put that in the Slack channel. Excuse the French, but it's a bloody good question. And it's a good question because it's all relative. Once you've maxed out what I'm asking for you and what Deb just said exactly, then keep your spine in those relative oppositions and then play with coming forward in your hips and backward in your hips. Because as you know, the action of coming forward all the way in your body is, yes, it's a spine movement, but it's also a hip movement. Does that answer your question, Deb?
No. I'm sure it's in there.
I'm glad I asked.
I know the answer's in there, but I don't know if I have that capacity.
Okay, so let me see you demonstrate. Can you curl your spine forward with your upper body, backward with your lower spine? Very good. Now, stay there a sec. Is that the most you can do? Is that the most you can do, Deb? Great. Now, everyone watch closely and give Deb some feedback. Do that again for us, please, Deb. So this is the maximum Deb said she can do. Go for it, Deb. Nice one. Now, that's Deb's spine. Yes? Now, Deb, go forward in your hips, but don't change your spine. Deb has the capacity to do this because she's nice and flexy. Yes? Now, keep your spine as it is. Don't change your spine. Go backward in your hips. As far as you can. Don't change your spine. As far as you can, don't change your spine. Good. Then come forward as far as you can. Don't change your spine. I'm asking you to move in your hips. So this is a little observation exercise for you guys. Look at the shape of what Deb is creating with her spine and see that it's not changing. You're doing a great job, Deb. But the movement is coming, in this specific example, out of Deb's hips. Go back as far as you can, Deb. All the way. Go on, all the way. Don't change your spine. Don't change your spine. Move your hips. Go on, move your hips. Good. Come all the way forward. Don't lose your spine. Keep your spine in the same shape. Good. So if we did an animation just then, and we took a snapshot of Deb's spine, we don't have to change that portion of the animation. We just need to move that shape in space. Yes? How'd that feel, Deb? What's that?
I need to see it on the replay.
Yep, good. It's definitely worthwhile one for you to review because, and this is one of my early teachers, Michael Miller. He designed a set of spectacles or goggles, a bit like Google goggles. You've seen those where you can do Google searches just by asking things. And he had them on his clients when they're having a workout, and he held the camera. So they got to see in the goggles what they were doing in their own body, and he could cue them. And so they could see it like a third person perspective and fix it right away or adjust it right away. Pretty interesting. So we're basically duplicating that for you, Deb, by you watching the video back. Okay, questions on that?
When Deb was moving forward and back, you said it was coming out of her hips.
Correct.
I'm not clear on that. Is that pelvic tilt?
Okay.
Or
So I'll be more specific. I'll be more specific with the cue. It's not coming out of her hips like pouring water out of a jug. That's not what I mean. Like it's not emerging from her hips. The movement is happening in the hip joint.
Okay.
So her pelvis is actually coming forward into hip flexion, and her pelvis is going backward into relative hip extension.
Okay. So the pelvis is actually moving through there. The pelvis is
moving relative to the thigh, which is called hip flexion or extension.
Yeah.
Yes?
But
the pelvis isn't moving relative to the spine. And this is the magic thing about the pelvis. It has two massive joints that intersects. The joint that the spine comes into the back of the pelvis, and the joints, I'll pair them together, that the thighs come into the pelvis. And we just chose to isolate one with the strength and stability of the abdomen, and we chose to move the other. It's a common thing approach in Pilates is to stabilize one thing and move the other. Does that answer your question, Tosha?
Kind of.
Cool. What's not clear?
I just got to think it through.
No worries. If you want to drop through your breakthrough on the Slack channel, go for it.
Okay.
Thank you. Question, Deb?
Yeah, I need to see it. Yeah.
No worries. Not a problem. Okay, the saw is next. Sitting tall, your legs are just wider than the mat this time. Tracy's demonstration in the manual has her legs quite wide. I'm happy for them to not go crazy wide. Sitting tall with your torso, arms are reaching out sideways. My preference is to have palms up. It's far more likely for your clients to drop their shoulders than when their palms are down. They're much more likely to lift their shoulders near their ears. Sit tall, out of your spine, rotate. It's 4 movements. Rotation is first. Spin your chest to face the side wall. Return center. I'm just breaking it down a little bit for you. And then spin to the other side. Go a little less crazy wide with your legs, please, Viv and Deb and Carly. You're good, Tasha. Only joking. I say that with empathy. It's all good. Carly, a little less wide with your feet, please. Okay. My image here for you is a tornado. When it spins, it does upwardness. So I want you to really rotate your torso and get some elevation in the process. Get clear that your arms aren't to do it on their own. It's very easy to what's called horizontally abduct the arm, which is taking the arm backward out of view. So technically, your arms are there and they don't actually move relative to your shoulders. It's a spine rotation exercise. So a nice way to teach that or cue that is to keep your fingertips in your peripheral vision the whole time. They start in your peripheral vision and then spin and they stay within your peripheral vision. Highly likely for the one behind you to disappear out of view and the one in front of you to come into view.
And the toes?
Flex towards your face big time.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. Okay, doke. The second portion of the movement is a forward flexion. So it's got spine stretch forward written all over it. Fortunately, we just did that a moment ago. So it's a nice complement. Spin to one side. The arm that's come across your body is now on the outside of the leg you're heading towards. It slides down the outside of your thigh, your knee, your calf, and the ankle. If it starts at the ankle, good for you. If it needs to start at the thigh, it's fine. Anywhere along that line on the outside of the leg. Outside of the leg, please, Deb. Now, you're welcome to push on the outside of your ankle with the outside of your hand. Push and get yourself around further. A lot. Push forever. Good. Now, rebuild your spine and then come back to the top. Change sides. Spin. Reach across. Flex forward. Rebuild. Come back to the top. Can you see your fingertips the whole time? If not, you're probably doing 90% of the exercise with your arms. I want you to move your spine. It's a magnificent exercise. There's so many layers to it, and you got to keep chipping away at figuring them all out. Okay, stay where you are, Kat. Looks really great. I'm just going to choose you because you've got a nice stripy garment that we can see, which is super handy. We'll do something for your shins in a moment for your stripy socks, Deb. Now, at the moment, Kat, where is your chest facing?
Sort of rotated.
Yep. Is it facing the floor, the side wall, the ceiling wall junction, or the ceiling?
The floor.
Okay. It needs to at least face the side wall, please.
Yep.
Is that better?
Yep.
Can you now face it towards where the ceiling meets the wall? Very good. Nice one. Everyone see that? Really great. Can you press on the outside of your right foot to contribute to that movement, please? There we go. Now, what's super handy and acknowledgement to Kat is we can see the beautiful tone of Kat's arm muscles actually come to life. Don't press on that for a moment, Kat. Everyone look at the tricep. It drops away. Still looks quite good. But then push against the leg. Bing! It really comes to life. See that? Very good. Good stretch, Kat.
Amazing.
Amazing. It's excellent for your back. You know?
Yeah.
Really great. Change sides. So let's look at now at the sternum bone and let's get a sense of where Kat is able to get to. It's handy with the lettering you got on the front of your garment there because we get to see it more. Amazing. Good for you. Now, feel the difference?
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the exciting bit, and I can relate to it. I came to Pilates having come out of a sports science degree and lots of physical fitness training also, and I got to use my arms, finally, to get into my spine. That's the ticket for you. You're ample strong. It looks like you look strong. It's obvious, yeah? I want you to use that ample shoulder strength to get into your spine and get into your upper back, and it's a game changer. Come to this side again. Good one. Now, imagine you're pressing your left arm forward towards the camera. So do move it a little bit. That's good. Now imagine someone is blocking that for you. So take it back again. Now imagine someone blocks it there. You try to push it towards the camera, but then your chest spins instead. So watch me. Watch this. Press like that with your chest. That's good. Not with your arm. It's your chest that has to go around. So I want you to open the front of your left collarbone. Great. Good for you. Feels that? Good, hey?
Feels good.
Amazing. Everyone watch the lettering, okay? It really comes into view. It's awesome. Yep, super helpful with the stripy shirt. When your clients wear stripy shirts, super handy in Pilates. You get to look for more things, yeah? Love it. Everyone give it a try. Any questions?
And the spine is in flexion.
It's in a really tricky alignment, yeah? Because you're doing a real combo here. You're spinning. That's why I had to do that to begin. you're spinning, and then you are forward flexing, and you're even doing a sneaky bit of side flexion too. Can you show us those three, please, Kat, while we're on you? Spin towards us. That's the clean rotation. Make them clean. Good. Arm comes across. Now, forward flex. You're trying to put your right ear on your right knee, yeah? And then side flex. So I want you to relatively shorten your right side of your waist, but match it with a lengthening in the left side of your waist. Open out the left side of your waist. Forward flex more, so your right ear is on your left knee. Did I say right knee before? I meant left knee. Excellent. Good for you. Now, what I'm busting to do for each of you is come and reach through the screen and grab a hold of your ribs and go.
I'm
If
guessing
you're able to do that for yourself, then it's a bloody nice feeling.
I'm guessing you know you've gone too far when your opposite hip is coming off the mat. So that
Absolutely.
needs to stay stable.
That means you just lost your anchor. And so then stretching doesn't happen anymore because everything just moves in the same direction.
Like your point, you can't go any further when you know you're about to tilt up.
Or you can go further and send your buttock the other way. Oi, back where you belong.
Yeah.
Get back in your box.
That feels so good.
It's good. Well done. Now, you would have heard the terminology from Joseph Flood. It's called wring out your lungs. This is a magnificent example of that. Amazing physiological benefits here. Like you really get to squeeze your lungs out, like get a hold of that and give it a good old crank, you know.
I'm hot.
It's good. It's really good. You wrote that on the Slack last week. I really appreciate that. You should be hot. Well done. Okay, we're having loads of fun. Unfortunately, we're out of time.
Really?
We got through a whole bunch. I think it's really beneficial for you guys. We'll pick up with this tomorrow. Is that okay?
Yep. Thank you.
I think it'll be good with an hour and 3/4 to you guys. Don't forget to bring your sweat towel.
Yeah.
Any questions before we finish up?
When we obviously see each other in person, you're obviously still not allowed to, you know, as you said, like literally get us in that position. Like, yeah. Because ideally, that's what you're going to do, you know.
Massive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I'm going to be able to demonstrate for you sufficiently. You'll be able to do it to yourself sufficiently. It won't be as good as ever. Like, I'm lucky enough to have 20 years in these little guys, which can really send you where you need to go to. And it's a great, like, invaluable skill that you're going to develop with your hands. When your hands can speak what your words are speaking, what your body is demonstrating, then it just like your next level effect and communication and impact on your client getting new stuff is amazing. I'm fortunate enough to be able to articulate verbally and that's why these sessions can be so beneficial to you guys without having to touch, and you can basically do it on yourself. Imagine if what I'm communicating with my words is also communicated through my hands, like you just bang, you just get it between the eyes. In terms of the exercise, like it really comes to life. So I'm just modeling that for you guys. So you really like that's the exciting bit. Like there's a shitload that you can offer your clients. I'm dead excited for you each because you're totally picking up all this great stuff. You've been doing great demonstrating today and last week, and I'm really stoked with your progress. And we're just lining up the ducks, like next layer, next layer, next layer, next layer. So well done for showing up with what you're up to.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Pleasure.
Awesome.
Busting out some moves tomorrow. Look forward to it.
Okay.
Thanks for coming. Ciao, ciao.